Hedera Hbar. So this is a pretty big deal, and most people don't know this about Hedera. I am going to be showing you a few figures about the growth that we have currently seen for 2023, because I do believe that we are now in a very good position for even more growth in this year. And the numbers don't lie, right? So that's exactly what I'm going to be showing you. We do have an update from AscentX, SourSwap, Earthlings Land, and also a partnership with Hedera in general. Then we will be looking at the price action for both Hbar and of course for Source today. So all I ask from you are two things, which is to hit that like button and to subscribe to the channel as well. Today is a Saturday, so I hope that you guys are enjoying the weekend. So far it is the morning that I am recording this, and so again I hope that you are all enjoying it. Now, let's first have a look at what Hbar Foundation has come out with. They do actually have a few numbers, and they do actually talk about the crypto adoption in general, but it definitely relates to Hedera because we have seen the growth somewhat simultaneously also grow in conjunction with the overall crypto market. So it says over here that as the crypto market begins to pick up again in 2024, one thing has become clear: markets really were for building. Now, last year, the crypto market saw signs of adoption that suggested a decoupling between industry-wide growth and other metrics such as price and volume, and not to forget the fact that institutions are also coming into the crypto market when it originally was for retail traders. And we have also seen the ETFs as well. We are going to be having an Ethereum ETF if we are able to get that approval from the SEC. So we have over here that 2023 saw signs of adoption, and you can see that despite still being a ways off from the almost 3 trillion market cap peak in November 2021. So if we actually have a look at where the market cap currently stands up right now, it's at 2.61 trillion. And we are actually not that far off from it. I mean, we are doing pretty good in order to get back to that 3 trillion in general. But I do remember when it was 1.8 trillion not so long ago. And this is where the chart comes into it. So we have 1.587 trillion in 2024, but 3 trillion back in that 2021. So we saw that massive growth over there. And you can see the different countries that basically participated in terms of the user growth. So first we had India, second Nigeria, third Vietnam. Very interesting to see these countries because we usually don't really hear about them as much. Of course, we have USA in fourth position, Ukraine fifth, Philippines sixth, Indonesia seventh, eighth Pakistan, and Brazil ninth, and Thailand in 10th place. So in terms of the countries that have actually increased in the adoption, it's mainly been India, Nigeria, and Ukraine, primarily in lower middle income countries. Of course, it is also adopted in the USA and the UK. However, it makes more sense that there will be more crypto adoption in these countries because, of course, with their financial infrastructure, especially with Nigeria, sometimes cryptocurrency can be an alternative compared with fiat currency, and especially with the settlement and clearing of the transactions as well. And of course, with their own fiat currency not actually being as valuable compared to the other currencies too. So it's good to see that they're going for these alternatives, and we are getting more of these countries adopting it. And then throughout 2023, we saw this growth reflected across all of our own success metrics, including new accounts, TVL, so your total value locks, and your transactions per second, and developer activity as well. And this influx in users we consider one of the most important metrics for a mature and healthy ecosystem in a bull market. So it would obviously make sense that if there was growth in the overall crypto market, that Hedera would also be following that, and it's a positive trend, right? However, if it didn't and it was the opposite way, then something would be of a concern. But you can see over here that in 2020, we had 68,000 new accounts. So it brought our total to just under 80,000. And in 2021, we saw 500,000 new accounts being opened. So that was a big jump from 2020 to 2021. And that brought a total of 588,000 total accounts. In 2022, just slightly over by an increase of 294,000. So we had 794,000 accounts being opened, which then brought us across that 1 million mark at 1.3 million. And of course, that big jump from 2022 to 2023 is where we saw 794k to 2.7 million new accounts now being opened, meaning that the total accounts so far is currently at 4 million, which is a 19.5% increase compared to previous year's growth. And this is how much the network has now been able to build. And it is a 195% increase compared to last year's account growth, and comprises 66% of the 4 million cumulative accounts created since network launch. And so what really happened is we had that snowball effect. 2019, 2020 was a bit slow, but then we were able to take a bit of a jump to 2021. And then between 21 and 22, we did have that increase. However, that snowball effect really happened and accelerated between these 2 years. They also said that this momentum behind the ecosystem growth that was built in the bear market can further be seen when looking at the number of the THF ecosystem projects that went live last year on Hedera across multiple verticals. I believe that the total amount of projects that we have going live, I'm not quite sure if it's 108, I think on their website that they did mention. But this is for the fiscal year of 2023, and with the majority of that being in healthcare at 18, accelerator at 14, and sports at 12 as well. And throughout 2024, they are continuing to accelerate the ecosystem growth by pursuing their 3 core strategies: on-chain finance, ecosystem as a service, and enabling verifiable liquid climate markets. And we also know just what they have announced recently, I think it was over a month ago now, in terms of the 4.86 billion Hbar that they have put aside in order to grow the ecosystem. And so we are definitely seeing Hedera actually working on what it says it is going to be doing, and they are bringing this to us as well. So the Hbar Foundation are, of course, making sure that we are getting the best of the best. And this is the reason as to why I think that a lot of people don't understand this, because you really have to look into the numbers and see what they are actually saying. From SourSwap, we have an update of a new weekly volume all-time high. So in the past week, SourSwap has now processed more than 150,000 unique transactions, accounting for over 93 million in total volume. And projected annually, they have come up with 11.87 million in the fees generated for SourSwap liquidity providers. So why is this important for the LPs? Well, the reason as to why it's important is because they provide the crypto assets to liquidity pools, and so they are able to then receive rewards for this. And the liquidity providers are definitely a need in terms of DeFi. They are a key component, and it helps for the efficient trading. So when you're doing your buying and selling, and that is the reason as to why we need these LPs. And of course, in return, they do get those rewards as well. And so it gives them an incentive to keep providing to that liquidity pool. From CentX, now we are live. We have the first public HCS token market. So they have welcomed Source onto CentX. Really good stuff. Users can now list, buy, and sell supported NFTs using Source as the base currency. And they are also doubling CentX rewards on all Source NFT sales for 5 days, based on total dollars transacted. And this came out yesterday on the 8th of March. So you have roughly around about until the 13th. Of course, we've got Earthlings Land, and now we have Source. Great stuff coming in from CentX. And talking about Earthlings Land, now we have their airdrops. So we already had one happening, and those were actually transferred to 27,000 wallets. So they say over here that they have 3 more rounds to go for all of March, April, May, and they're only increasing in value. And the next one is going to be round 2. So all we have to do is associate all 3 tokens below to be eligible for the next drop. So we have the Earth bag holder, PH Steam, and we also have Steam as well. And of course, we have the different wallets. So we have the Hashpack app, we have Blade Wallet, Kabila app, Walla Wallet, and Galaxy app as well. Pretty nice stuff coming in from Earthlings Land. And again, in terms of the fees, when it came to the transfers of all of them with the airdrops, it only roughly amounted to about $2.70. We actually had this update coming from Hedera yesterday on March the 8th. So the Hashgraph Association has now announced their support for Metacorp's DMZ tokenization protocol, empowering businesses, startups, and enterprises to generate non-security governance tokens and tokenized real-world assets using Hedera. What this actually means is that yes, we're going to be moving to tokenization with the real world assets, but we need to ensure that that process is easy for those businesses to integrate. So the Hashgraph is now funding the Metacorp to support their mainnet launch. You can see over here it's to bridge the gap between startups and large enterprises. And the DMZ will function as a virtual economic real world asset aggregator aimed at simplifying the tokenization process for startups and big businesses. Because of course it's going to be these startups and businesses that will be implementing this on their platforms, and they need to be able to find an easy way in order to onboard it as well, so they can get set up and running. And I think that that is going to be probably one of the obstacles that we will be having in terms of tokenization, because it's easy to actually trade in tokenization in general. What's going to be the obstacle is the businesses to actually start that up first. So it will be aiming to provide solutions to challenges encountered by blockchain developers during the creation of the non-security governance tokens and the tokenization of real-world assets. And in terms of these challenges, it may include stakeholder management, automated collections and distributions, voting, composability, and scaling as well. but the DMZ will become the first Hedera protocol using Solidity smart contracts to facilitate the tokenization of DAOs and real-world assets with ERC20 and ERC721 tokens. Obviously, it is the EVM, but we do have a statement from the CEO and founder at Metacore saying that we are certain that the system will appeal not only to the Web3 space, but to the traditional users as well, as we believe that the world is gearing to merge both Web2 and Web3 in the coming years. Of course, you've got to mention that the fact that we are now moving to Web3 because it is more secure than Web2. It's obviously decentralized as well. They don't have your data. And of course, you can pay in cryptocurrency and you're not restricted to only fiat currencies and of your own country. So pretty good stuff coming in with this partnership, and it will be the first protocol as well. Let's have a look at the price action for Source today. We are currently trading at 0.1849. We are down by 4% on the 1-day chart. For the 24-hour volume, we are up by 16.88%, and we're trading at $3.75 million. So at the start of the week, the 7-day chart, we are down by 17.14%. But we actually opened up the week at 22 cents. We did take a dip to 0.1815, which is pretty much where we are right now. Then we went to a nice high of 21 cents, took another dip to 0.1794, and then we climbed back up to 0.2106. And of course, now we are down. So we've just pulled back by roughly around about 3 cents. Not that big of a deal because on the 1 month chart, we are up by 118.48%. We are up by quite a lot. We are still in the green. Now, if we do see a bit more upside, we could potentially be hitting the 21-cent price target. However, if we don't and we retrace to the downside, we could potentially be seeing 15 cents. And especially if we have a bit more of a dump, we could actually be seeing 12 cents. But still, we're doing pretty good. Let's see if we're actually able to hit 20 cents in the next 2 days or not. And if not, let's see if it's able to hold these 15-cent level. So let's have a look at the price action for Hbar. We are currently trading at 13 cents on the lower end. On the 1-day chart, we're down by 1.3%. On the 1 week, we are up by a nice 9.9%. We started off the week at 0.115, so the mid-range of 11 cents. So we went to 0.125 on the 5th of March. We did come down to that 0.106 level, though on the same day. However, we had this nice spike and run up all of the way to 0.37, and that actually happened in the early hours of the morning. So we were somewhat reaching to that 14-cent price target. So we're at 13 cents. On the 1 month chart, we are up by 72.3%. My next price target for Hbar is 15 cents. That is what I'm currently eyeing up on. But if we do see more of a pullback, I definitely want it to be in the mid-range of 11 cents. However, if we do pull back even more, we could potentially be seeing 0.106. Guys, if you want daily Hedera Hbar coin news, hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel as well.